Wonder Woman Black and Gold 2026 Special Issue 1. This is the sort of thing that normally I don't even know if we'd try reading, but it was such a quiet week that I figured we might as well have a look at it. Although this comes with a confession on my part, I didn't read all of it. I did no pout at a certain point.
I tried, but
How does this always happen to me?
because you read things even when they're terrible, and then you give them like 8 out of 10s.
No, I don't.
No. If something's
terrible, I'm giving them an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, if something's terrible, he'll give it a 7. You'll.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It's when it's mediocre, you'll give it the 8.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I don't think this is terrible. I found, as I was reading it, I'm like, I'm not interested in this story. So I was like flicking through going, I'll try the next one. And then I'm like, I read 3 or 4 pages of that and be like, I'm not feeling this either.
I mean, I liked the first story. The first story, the Mitch Gerrard's one, I enjoyed. I thought it was a sweet story about a girl waiting to see Wonder Woman.
I didn't love it.
I also liked the second story because we got Xanthi showing back up, and we got the whole spirit world thing. I don't know how it fits in to what's going on in Wonder Woman, but I like seeing them interact. And then it falls off hardcore for me with the last 2.
Yeah, I didn't even try the third one because I was like, I saw Steve Orlando. I went, no, thank you.
Yeah.
I went to skip ahead to the last one, and I looked at it, and I looked at the art. I'm like, I'm not feeling this story.
Yeah, the art was an instant turn off for the last one. Yeah, for me.
The Peach Thief, which is the last one, is just more of that young adult one of the little Diana on Themyscira getting into scrambles. Yeah. And I thought, oh, this was gonna go into different places. And it doesn't. It's exactly what you think it's going to be.
So to sum up the first one, which is the one that I read all of, is this girl who's at the museum and she won a competition and she's going to meet Wonder Woman. But the story of it is that Wonder Woman has crisis to deal with all day. So she's taking out villains, she's saving people that are in need. And we keep cutting back to the museum where the guy running is like, hey, Wonder Woman's been delayed, sorry. But he keeps being nice to the little girl and saying, I'm sure she'll be here later, and he gives her something to eat. And it's just it's all about this girl's just determination of not quitting and going home. And then the sweet ending is obviously Wonder Woman does finally show up and says, yeah, I wanted to meet my new best friend, because that's what the girl's been saying all day, is I'm going to be Wonder Woman's best friend. That's it. It's sweet. It's Mitch Gerrard's art, so it looks fantastic the entire time.
I love the running joke of the docent talking to her, and then he'll say something he wasn't supposed to, and he goes, I probably shouldn't have said that. And the little girl's like, it's okay. Just the kind of innocence of a child.
Yeah.
And then
you mean specific words. It's not like he gives opinions that he shouldn't be sharing. It's just, he says...
No.
He says something sucks, and she's like, I'm not allowed to say that. He's like, yeah, me neither. Don't tell my boss.
Yeah. And I just love all of that. And then, her standing there, waiting to meet Diana, I thought was really well done. And there's something about Garrett's style, like that kind of realistic thing where he just nails the expressions. So when the girl who she picks up one of the words from the docent that she's been talking to, because it's done in the expletives, and he goes to that painting and that's where Diana shows up. And the look of shock on her face is quite endearing.
Yeah, but I love how it's implied that it's maybe the word shit or something like that. It's actually much more harsh than anything else that he said earlier in the issue. Which just sort of pays off the joke of it. So no, I had a fun, sweet time with this first story. It was a nice little kind of exactly the sort of story you'd get in like a special or an anniversary issue.
Yeah, and
that was very pleasant. And then I looked at the first page of the next story and went, I don't really want to read this one.
No,
I think it's worth knowing about the special as a whole conceptually is. So we've had a few of these style stories, the black and white and one color. I don't think the yellow / gold is a good choice for these books. I think it's not nice on the eyes to have just that much yellow with the black. It's not a color that works well as an accent color when it's the only one. Whereas like the red usually kind of works quite well.
Blue with Superman.
Yeah,
the red and blue.
Yellow, gold here. I don't know. I just the palette. It's not particularly pleasant for that long.
No, yeah. That said, it matches with the Garrett style because of the way that he does his own art. Right? He inks his own stuff. I think he sometimes colors it. So I'm quite used to seeing that kind of drab, that yellowy kind of vibe to things that he does. Think about like Strange Adventures. he would have that kind of over certain parts.
I think
whatever.
yeah,
So
like
I
if
think
it was like certain parts, I think even the Garrett's one, he actually uses the yellow a lot more than anyone else. Like he does like full background yellow, and then the subjects are black and white. Yeah. And like I don't know, it's not for me. That's not particularly pleasant on my eyes to read, especially digitally. Maybe it's different in print, but the digital edition, yeah, it just doesn't look great to me. And
so I will say
the ones, yeah.
I will say too. So it's used in the Orlando to really emphasize things, and I'll talk about it when we get there. Since I'm the only one that read it.
I think at Skim it's probably the one that I think uses it the best because it's just used for like the lasso, the braces.
It's very it's mostly just black and white, that story, with just the odd little like one thing.
And I think
yellow.
that actually the art in that leans a lot more heavily on being a black and white issue because you draw and ink that very differently. Whereas I think the Gerard's one actually is just drawn as if it was going to be colored normally, and then it just slaps a big gold filter on it for large portions. And I just don't think it looks that great. I think the pencils are fantastic, don't get me wrong. Yeah. But I think the way it uses the color is not particularly effective.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really have any strong feelings about the gimmick of the black, black, white, and gold kind of coloring scheme. I thought it looked fine in the Garrett story. I just, the second story looked very busy to my eye as soon as I looked at that first page.
It was.
Agreed.
Yeah, and then I was just like, I don't really want to read this. And then the story after that was Orlando, and I've disliked just about everything I've read from Orlando, so I just wasn't even willing to try.
And that one almost gets it, and I feel like just Orlando needs a better editor to be like, okay, rein that in a little bit. Did you read the second story, Connor?
I read the first 3 pages of it and then gave up because the art. It was actually the art was just too busy, and again with the color choices, it just wasn't working for me.
Yeah. So in this one, she goes to Spirit World. She's looking for Steve. She made a paper airplane, and Xanthi's like, "Oh wow, you're really good at that." And so she takes Diana into the Spirit World, and because she's Diana and she has this essence to her, one of the creatures that lives down there, one of the, takes Steve's form and tries to lead her astray, but Diana knows that that's not him because that's not what would happen in the afterlife, because of their discussions. So she's been fighting this three-eyed fox creature. We never get a full name or anything for it. And then by the end, Xanthi and Diana talk, and they're like, he's not here, so he must be in another part of the afterlife, but I'll never stop looking. He'll find his way home. And that's the whole aspect of it was there. And like you said, the art is very busy almost for the sake of being busy. And it doesn't, it uses the gold for the flourishes, but it's almost like, I don't know, there's still too much going on. The gold doesn't add too much to it. So this is when I started to get worried. I got through this one. I was like, oh no, this is going to be one of those. Yeah, I kept on going. Because I said I was going to read it, right? And then we get through the Orlando story, and this boat's heading to this island, but it's in Lake Superior, which is one of the Great Lakes here in the States. And it looks like Themyscira, but something's off. And there's all these group of people in like white cloaks, and one of them is Diana. You can see her tiara poking through, and you come to find out there's this cult there. Led by Anton Unreal. And again, this is where I go, oh, I made a mistake already. And essentially he's created his own paradise island where the people in the cult reject reality for unreality. And so now truth has no meaning. So how does Diana come up against someone that doesn't believe in truth? So again, I understand what Orlando's going for, especially right now.
Because there's a nice idea in that.
Yes. I just wish that it was developed better because it ends up Diana lassoing him with the golden, perfect, because that's what they keep calling it here. It's not just the lasso. And they end up in this power struggle in their minds, in like the place between the gold and perfect. And it's almost like, because he doesn't believe in truth, it doesn't have a full impact on him. And he starts trying to turn it on Diana, but because Diana is the bastion of truth in this. She ends up, being able to fight him and forcing truth upon him. And then again, there's good ideas in here where she talks about, manipulation is not liberation, subservience is not freedom, choice is not a shackle, and you're no savior, and that's, you're just a man, which it hits there, right? So when he comes out of it, though, he's done such a job on these people that they don't believe it. That there's no way that this man, their leader, would lie. So Diana just kind of leaves and, is like, they haven't drowned yet. These people are still worth saving. But, if you ever need a lifeline, there's none stronger than truth. So again, it almost gets there, but it just misses. And I'm just like, ugh, someone would, step in, please. But yeah, that's, I think, where the yellow or the gold does the best, because it's on the lasso, it's on, her emblem and the tiara and her belt and stuff. So
I think even just flicking through, I think the art is clearly the best for this format. I'm not saying it's a better artist than Gerrard's necessarily, but I think specifically for the black and white format, I think it's easily the best, where it's big blocky shapes, heavy inks, really just simple silhouettes. I think it conveys the best in terms of just being, really nice to read on its own.
And when they're in the realm and he starts attacking, it gets all dark, right? The gold really pops out because there's a lot of heavy, with the inks and the darkness and whatever. So it really does the job of making it stand out. So it's like Orlando knew this is what it was going to be like. So I feel like he really leaned into that part and didn't fully develop the story instead. But yeah, and then the last one's just a kiddie tale where Diana's with Hippolyta, and it's like peach season for the golden peach on Themyscira that has ties to Persephone, and who's the goddess of the moon, not Persephone, Selene, who's the goddess of the moon, who, when Persephone was taken by Hades, she cried about it, and her tears ended up making these golden peaches. Someone is stealing them. Come to find out where Diana does a stakeout, it's Jumpa. Jumpa's going and clearing them out. And so they end up stopping her. And there's no conflict, because by the end, they still end up making the cobbler that someone's supposed to be making. I forget who. But the whole thing is that there's not enough. But they still end up making it. So I don't know what all that was for, right? So, yeah, that was the one where I was just like, I made a mistake, guys. I read all of these, and I could have read something else. But here I am, going through all of them, and yeah. So that was the end of Black and Gold.
Your sacrifice has been noted.
It has been.
Yeah, I mean, I won't read it. I only read one of the stories. If you want to read it, Matt, you can.
I mean, it's real hit or miss with the stories. I mean, I think a 6 would be fair, but I feel like that does a disservice to the Gerrard's art and even the art in the Orlando story. But it just feels extra superfluous.
It's always tough to rate these anthology style books.
Because I'm not upset having read the Gerrard's one. I'm a little upset with the rest of them, though. So, but that Gerrard's one was good.